You're basically saying these religious accounts are true and these religious accounts over here are not true. And you have no better evidence for your truth than they have for theirs. Because what you have is a claim from someone who you find truthful. Now, are you just going to say that for all those other religions or for those other supernatural accounts, you just don't find those people truthful?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, then I don't find yours truthful. And there's no point in having a debate because we no longer give a damn about epistemology. We're just going to go with how our gut feels, right?
Well, we're going to look at the evidence.
Do you have any evidence that doesn't come from the Bible?
No.
Okay, so you have nothing but a hearsay account from an unidentifiable source.
We have evidence from the New Testament, including Paul and the Gospels and so forth.
It's not evidence, it's claims. You can say that there are people who wrote stories and you find them compelling and I don't.
If you're just going to keep dismissing the evidence, then we're done.
Yes, we are. And you know whose fault it is? The God that you believe in, because the God that you believe in is too stupid to understand that when he presents something in a way where it's indistinguishable from other things that are false, that's the end of the conversation. I didn't make up the rules about what counts as evidence. Oh, did he just leave?
He's definitely not here.
I'm pretty sure he just quit because I'm not going to accept the stories from his book while he's not giving me any reason why he's rejecting the stories from other people's books. You're basically saying these religious accounts are true.
I just saw that video where the Christian walks off because Matt says all you got is a biblical document. It's a document and it's indistinguishable from all the other religions. They write something down, they make a claim, you make a claim. Why should I believe your claim? And the Christian guy got frustrated and walked off. He shouldn't have walked off. It made Christians look bad. But anyway, the reason we can believe our claims is because there's verifiable evidence when it comes to the Bible. It's the only book in the world that fulfills prophecies. If you go to the book of Daniel, he wants to know about the future. God reveals it in a dream, and he has 4 empires that come, and he would say how long they would come. He would name what empire would come, and then the next empire would take over, and then this empire, and then this empire is going to come, the 4th one, and it's going to split into 2, and he even gave names, right? So Daniel was 100% correct, and that's what happened. History tells us. They found Daniel, at first they were saying, well, maybe it was written after the event. So it was telling the events and it's just pretending that it told the future. No, they found the book of Daniel in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it was, written before those events happened, and it happened perfectly. And then Daniel tells what's going to happen with the Messiah. He was going to come in 33 AD, and then the second temple was going to be destroyed. Then that happened. And then it talks about Israel becoming a nation again. That was like against all odds. That's like the native Indians becoming a nation again. It was impossible to happen, but God said it was going to happen, so it happened. I even watched a documentary, and it talked about all these different books. Talked about the Quran, Nostradamus. There was some other ESP guy, and it talked about the Bible, and it went through all the books and it ripped them apart that it didn't foretell the future. But when it came to the Bible, they said, okay, this one tells the future, but if you have all these books out there, one of them by chance. Now, when the mathematician does the odds, the chance is like 1 in a trillion that Jesus came and fulfilled 300 prophecies. It's 1 in like millions and millions and billions and trillions for Jesus to fulfill 8. When you go to the book of Isaiah, it says what was going to happen with the coming Messiah. That he was going to be rejected by his people, despised. They were going to shake their heads. That he was going to have a trial. That he wasn't going to answer at his trial. That he was a sheep without a sheep to the slaughter. What else? Oh, he would get pierced and he would be buried in a rich man's tomb. And then Jesus comes and does this very thing. When you read Isaiah and when you read the gospel accounts, what happened to Jesus was identical. And then Jesus spoke in parables. That was prophesied that the Messiah would preach in parables, that he would be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. In Isaiah, it says he will pray for his transgressors, and that's what he did on the cross. Father, forgive them. They don't know what they do. So we have in black and white these documents that came true. I have a sister who's a history teacher, and she said the book of Daniel and history match up perfectly, like a man putting on a glove. It matches up perfectly. So when he's saying, oh, you want me to believe these claims, what's the difference from other religion? The difference is the Bible had predictive power. That's how we know we can trust it. If not, you're right. And it's like, it's the only book in the world that has done this. And the other religions don't have any evidence like this. The Christians are the only ones that come and say, look at the Bible. We can look at it together. Let's open the pages. It's in black and white. And let's read what it says is going to happen. And then look at history to see what happens. Did those world empires happen according to Daniel? Yes, exactly. Did Jesus, did the Messiah come? And was he crucified in the year 33 AD? Did he cry out, my God, why have you forsaken me? What else was, so we have the crucifixion, we have the buried in a rich man's tomb, praying for his transgressors, not answering a word at his trial, being rejected by his people. And we could look at it in black and white, what it says is going to happen. And then here comes history, and that's what happens. This is why we believe the Bible. This is the only credible evidence we have. Because Jesus said he was the only way, right? And that's true. And now if there's another way, please come and show me the evidence. Show me the evidence like Muhammad. What did Muhammad had? Oh, he went in the cave and he saw Gabriel. Okay, did he have any prophecies written about him? No. Did he do any miracles? No. Did he leave an empty tomb? No. He had nothing. He has no credentials. Jesus has prophecies written about him, so he's on the cross, fulfilling the prophecies. The ground's shaking, the sun goes dark, and his tomb is empty. How do we know his tomb was empty? Well, can you go outside Jerusalem and say, Jesus has risen from the dead and his body still be there? That's where they preached, right outside where his corpse used to lay. They would just have to open it up. He's in there. You guys are full of it, right? And then the Jews said his body, the tomb is empty, but you guys stole the body. So, them saying he stole the body shows that they believe the tomb was empty. And then he goes, it's just claims. We have the disciples that claim they seen Christ. But it's not just a man making the claim. But, people go and testify. I saw this guy murder someone, and then they convict that person and give that person the death penalty based on an eyewitness. So I don't know why he says, eyewitnesses are not credible. They're not evidence when we use them every day in court. But anyway, are these people believable? If they were tortured, they wouldn't stop preaching about Christ. It's like Peter was caught and they whipped him. They said, don't preach about Christ no more. And he says, I'm going to obey God. So he continues to preach about Christ, and then they get him a second time and they whip him again. They said, this is your last warning. Don't preach about Christ. The next one will want to be death. And he told them blatantly, I am not going to stop preaching about Christ. And you know what they did the third time? They said, okay, now we're going to crucify you. And he says, don't crucify me the regular way. Crucify me upside down. What would make a man be tortured and refuse to stop preaching that Christ rose? Is he dying for a lie? Of course not. In his mind, he believes that he saw Jesus rise from the dead. And if he didn't, please tell me why he was so badly mistaken. Because historians say the disciples had some kind of experience where they thought that Jesus was appearing to them. So we have the empty tomb, we have the man fulfilling prophecies, then we have the disciples that were willing to be tortured to death. And this one is what really convinces me. You got Paul. He didn't believe in Christ. He was a Pharisee, and he went around trying to arrest Christians. He was trying to stop this false religion. And in his mind, it was a false religion. So on his way with warrants to go pick up anyone who believes in Christ, Christ appears to him. So he stopped murdering Christians. He stopped arresting Christians. And one day he's trying to murder Christians. The next day he's trying to convert people to become Christians. What would make a man murder you for being a Christian one day, and then the next day try to convert you to a Christian? Well, he told us. He said that Christ appeared to him. And then he preached, and he got whipped, he got stoned, he got imprisoned, and they chopped off his head. So he went from murdering Christians to heavy persecution trying to convert people to Christianity. And now Matt wants to say it's just a claim. It's just a claim. It's just a claim. Well, please explain to me why these men were willing to suffer so much, give up all their whole life. They left their wives, they got kicked out of the church, they were beaten, they were jailed. Why would they do all this for a lie? And if they're wrong, please tell me why they're wrong. So, and then he goes, God is so stupid to give us something indistinguishable from other religions. He didn't. He gave us the word. He gave us the Bible, which we can prove if it was all fulfilled. And then Jesus comes and he heals the sick and he raises the dead, and he raises from the dead. And what did the Pharisees do? They saw the miracles, and all they could do is try to, oh, he healed on the Sabbath. He's not of God. Oh, he raised someone from the dead. Let's go kill the person he raised from the dead so people don't believe in him. So no matter what God does, don't call God stupid, Matt. You're the stupid one that you go look at all this complexity in creation and say, there's no God. When we have information in our DNA and the universe came from nothing, then the universe comes into existence, fine-tuning, then they have no idea how nature could make life. They don't know how life started. You know why they don't know how nature made life? Because nature didn't life, and they'll never be able to find it. Then you have consciousness. They can't find it in the brain. You know why they can't find consciousness in the brain? Because it doesn't come from a brain, but it comes from the soul that God made. Matt, come back. Come back, Matt. It's like, you think you're this like gunslinger in the Old West, and you have the fastest drawer. Please, you're gonna feel so ashamed on Judgment Day.